Welcome to the official Peer2Peer podcast. We're your hosts, Sophia and
I'm Tanya, and today we're here with Mr. Kelly.
Hello.
All right, so we just have some questions for you, Mr. Kelly. So if you want to get us started, Tanya.
Yeah, so our first question is, how did you end up teaching at Pingree?
So I was running the library at Delbarton for 5 years. We just built a new library, and I decided that I didn't really want to be in the library as much anymore. I thought that teaching writing would be fun. Delbarton didn't have any English positions open, and Pingree did, so here I am, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Yeah, that sounds great. So
Yeah.
do you want to talk more about how your Pingree experience compares to Delbarton so far?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, being in a different position changes things. Being a classroom teacher versus being the librarian, my day-to-day is a lot busier. First, I think the biggest difference I've noticed, though, is in the student body. Having female students, I think, really changes the entire vibe of a building, and I think there are some aspects to Pingree which would not exist if it were still a single-sex school. So that said, I like the free time we have here. There are less periods in a day. 4 classes in a day is not that bad. There's 7 up there. So it's a nice change. Everything feels both oddly relaxed and really fast-paced here at the same time, which I think is kind of the Pingree experience from what I've gathered.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right.
That
right?
sounds
Yeah.
right. So what are some standout moments at Pingree, or some moments that you were really ingrained in you?
I think the first moment that really stands out for me was last year's dunk tank. I did the dunk tank with Dean Hopeful, and it was an experience. I wasn't really sure what to expect, and having Trunks out there filming and kind of the whole Pingree vibe, it was really a nice experience. Teaching 9th and 10th primarily, I work with the younger kids, so being in those 9th and 10th kind of social settings really makes me feel more connected to the students. The other thing that I think sticks out the most is, as many people in this community know, I do site management now. And being at some of the soccer games and the basketball games, and especially the girls lacrosse games last year, site management to me is kind of like the way I really get involved with the community. I sit in class, I grade papers, but then after 3:30, I get to go out and see my kids as athletes, meet parents, meet coaches. And to me, that's really been kind of the way that I've been able to get ingrained into the Pingree culture. So for me, I think those are kind of the 2 biggest moments. The dunk tank was really the first time I felt a part of the community. Because if they didn't want me on if the community didn't want me on the dunk tank, they wouldn't have invited me. They wanted me there.
We definitely wanted you there.
So that was kind of the first time that I felt that Mr. Kelly, the non-teacher, belonged at the school, not just Mr. Kelly, the teacher.
Well, that was a really nice answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were just happy that you were in the dunk tank. Probably not.
No, I think my students just wanted to see me embarrassed, and it worked. Well
done. Well, all right. I mean, you kind of got into that with that answer. Would you say your experience at Pingree has shaped you as a teacher and a person in any ways different than maybe Delbarton, like how it's changed?
Yeah, I think, again, I did some teaching up there. I did replacement leaves. I taught theology briefly. And the teacher I was there is very different than the teacher I was here. There's more freedom here. I've been able to, with the support of the English department, some good colleagues in there, I've been able to kind of find my own way. For those students who are unlucky enough to have me, you know that my class is not something that can be predicted on a daily basis. We change things up. I think feeling the freedom to explore, trusting the faculty here to help guide me, knowing that there were people I could go to, it allowed me to develop my own sort of brand. I don't feel like I teach the Pingree way or the Delbarton way. I teach the Mr. Kelly way. And it's the only really way I can figure out to do what it is I want to do, which is make students as passionate about the English language as I am.
Nice. I have a bit of a follow-up question to that.
Yeah.
Do you think that the freedom Pingree provides its teachers in their curriculum and whatnot is, I wouldn't say necessarily a good thing, but do you think it helps make Pingree a better experience for the students? Because, like, not just your class, I think there are other classes where the teachers really get to go into things that they're interested in. So you'll get a completely different experience with a different chemistry teacher or a different math teacher.
Yeah,
so.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think the freedom from a teacher perspective is extremely helpful. It allows me, like I said, I got to trial and error some things last year. I had oversight, Dr. Dickerson was watching and there were people paying attention, but I got to try things. when I think about what I thought teaching was, or kind of what I assume teaching is, it's very much, this is the material you're going to cover here, you go do this. And I don't know that I'd be able to really feel comfortable that way. I think when I get passionate about something that is going on in our classes, I would imagine those are the best days for my students. Because if I'm getting amped up, which is not hard, but if I'm getting amped up, hopefully someone is feeling that. Hopefully it's somehow contagious. You know, I don't like jumping around in the front of the room just for exercise. I do it because I like what I do. I like expressing the things that I find in literature, or getting really excited if a student finds something. So I think my style, it works for me. And I don't know that it would work for anyone else, nor would I suggest anyone try it.
I mean, I think that's part of the reason why so many people enjoy your class so much. It's just the fact that you're there doing what you want to do. And I think that makes the experience a lot better for everyone, because I don't think anyone likes a teacher who doesn't want to be there, doesn't want to be with kids, and doesn't get the...
I mean, my favorite teachers were the ones who were the most passionate. I still, to this day, I have a former teacher of mine, Kurt, who's a novelist now. He's the one that got me writing. He saved my life by introducing me to creative writing. That passion carried over. That's the kind of passion I bring. I show up to class and I think about what Kurt must have done every day to show up and just kind of be not only ready to teach, but be on. I mean, he loved literature, and it really, really inspired me to follow suit with that.
Yeah, I think as one of your students, it's really nice to be able to go on to like maybe a little side conversation about something that we're interested in. And especially when we were talking about philosophy in class, I think it was really nice to be able to dive further into that.
You're very kind to call this slight diversion, but yeah.
No, but yeah, the passion really shows, and I guess thank you for that, because it does make the class... I would say the same thing with the philosophy discussions. Those are enjoyable.
I think that's the thing. You know, my freshmen always ask me, what are my favorite books to teach? And Grendel is my favorite book to teach because it allows me to explore literature through a lens I enjoy, which is through the philosophical lens. So yeah, I think it's once anyone, a teacher, a coach, anyone is passionate about the thing they're doing, and they're showing their passion viscerally and vividly, it can't help but inspire. You know, you can put up a wall if you want to. There are people who can close off to receiving it, but I think passion is not something that is easy to deflect. I think by showing up every day 100% on, I hope to somehow convey to my students that this is what I choose to do. I'm not here because I need to be. I'm here because I like doing this. I like English and I like my students.
Yeah, kind of beautiful. I guess we're gonna continue then. But
so
that's a great answer.
What would you say is your general teaching philosophy, I guess? Kind of tying into this conversation.
My general teaching philosophy. There's no reason learning can't be fun all the time. I don't want to put my students through sitting and taking Scantron tests. I don't want them to go through arduous processes just for the sake of quote unquote learning. If what I am going to convey to you is going to be valuable to you, then there should be a way for you to receive it sort of naturally. And as a generally outgoing and fun guy, I don't see why I can't bring that. You know, there's no reason we can't talk about comma splices while playing a game. You know, is Name That Tune going to help us learn English? Probably not. But it allows us to create an environment in which when we have to sit down and get ready to work, we have a camaraderie. We have sort of a sense of, you know, this is our class versus the other section. And that allows us, I think, to get unique into what we do. It allows us to be specific from classroom to classroom. It allows me to kind of ride the vibe of the room. You know, every class I've had, there's been kind of a different feel to it. Who's sitting where and who's talking to this person, who's kind of my I got to keep an eye on that person. And by bringing those things into class, every day becomes something new, and every day becomes a challenge to make what we have to do both fun and receivable.
Well, I think there are studies for sure that tie into the fact that when learning is fun, it's more effective. Because, I mean, when us students are excited to go into your class, I think we're more open to learning new things, engaging in and all the stuff we're learning and stuff. So I do think it has worked for us.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no other way to do it, so I'm glad it works. I'm sure it doesn't work for everyone, and I know that probably walking into a Mr. Kelly class first block on a rainy Monday morning might not be everyone's idea of fun, but by the time you leave that class, you'll be awake. And that's the best I can offer you. You might learn something, but you'll definitely be awake.
Yep. Well, all right. if you could do something outside of teaching as a job, what would that be?
Oh boy. If I could get paid to write, I think I would. Though I often wonder if once it became a job, if it would cease being a passion. So I kind of go back and forth with that. I think I would go back to my original childhood dream and be an Egyptologist. I was always fascinated with ancient Egypt. I traveled to Egypt in 1995. There was always something about Egypt that drew me. And if I had to leave teaching, I think, not that I would go back to school and get a doctorate in Egyptology, but I think it might be a little, passion project to follow. I've done a lot of jobs over my years. There's not an industry really I haven't worked in. So I think trying to think of like my dream job, this is it.
That's really sweet.
Yeah. I mean, I know you just said that you're worried that if you say you were a writer, you said that you you think that writing might lose the joy and excitement of if it became your job. I mean, there's this saying that if you love your job, you don't work a day in your life. Mm-hmm. So do you agree with that sentiment, or?
I do. I've had a number of jobs, this one included, where I'm excited to go to work. When I worked in TV, I was excited to get on the train, go in, do some research. There's something about writing for me has been not only an activity, but it's been a therapy. And so to take that writing and sort of make it something where I am beholden to an employer with that writing, it takes it away from being my writing and it turns it into something I have to produce for someone else. And I wonder if that would be the writing that I want to do. I don't think I have designs on being a published author. I don't no problem with if the work gets published, but there's something about making it as a writer, whether that be professionally, critically, whatever, that feels like it would hinder me from pushing forward as a writer. I got published. I'm good enough. I don't ever want to be good enough. I don't think I'm a very good writer. I guess I'm okay. But it takes away from the joy if I'm doing it for someone else. And that's why I think it would be a tough thing. I like it as a passion. I like it as a hobby. I like it as part of who I am, but I don't know if I would want to get up and 9 to 5 it.
That makes perfect sense here. I mean, I think your explanation cleared that out really nicely.
So, talking about things outside of your job, what about any hidden talents that you might have that you want to let us know?
So, over the past year and change, there has been a small but growing body of Mr. Kelly lore. So I think one hidden talent I have is that I can identify approximately 200 cheeses by taste. So I can tell the difference in cheddar ages. So I worked as a cheesemonger for a while. That's a hidden talent.
Of course you did.
I can fold my tongue into 3 loops.
Oh my God.
Which I just did for them, and that's the reaction you expect. I used to be able to put one leg behind my head, but I have a feeling I can't do that anymore.
You don't want to try?
Not right now.
No, okay.
No. I feel like as we are close to the nurse's office, it wouldn't be a horrible idea. Mm-hmm. But I have class in 8 minutes, so let's not do that. Other hidden talents. I think that's it. I'm not the type of person who hides things. If I have something, you're gonna know about it. I feel like. So.
Well, I didn't know about the tongue thing till now.
Yeah,
so can confirm that he did in fact fold his tongue 3 times. That's.
Oh my God.
That wasn't an invitation to do it again. It was just.
I don't know if that's impressive or terrifying.
It could be both.
Yeah. I think it is. All right. Well, moving on from that. Yep. I mean, I guess we can. One question: do you have favorite students?
This is the question everyone's been dying to know, correct? Are there Mr. Kelly favorites? I cannot confirm or deny there are Mr. Kelly favorites.
As your students, we were really hoping for a response.
I think that might be a bit of an answer in itself.
I think the fact that 2 of my students are interviewing me right now is possibly shifting the way I answer that question. No, I think I will say this. I don't have any least favorite students. I like all the students I've had. every student I teach brings something different to the room, and seeing the combination of personalities and kind of wondering what would it have been like if that person was in that room. I've only had the fortune of teaching 5 students twice, as this is my second year. There's only 5 lucky Mr. Kelly freshmen who became Mr. Kelly sophomores. I don't want to sound so cheesy as to say you're all my favorite, but I really, really like working with the students that I have, and there may or may not be favorites, but I cannot disclose.
Well, that was very sweet, very good answer, unfortunately. I mean, maybe we wanted a little more than that, but...
Yeah, I guess we're hoping for
very-
maybe a
You,
couple
you
names.
can have
Very
me
safe
back.
answer,
Maybe
yeah.
you can sweeten me up with Dunkin' Donuts.
All right, we'll see.
Okay. It's on the way to school, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So, as a teacher, what do you hope or look for in your students when they work in your class? So in terms of their work ethics or something like that.
I think most important is I have to see you try a little bit. I'll help carry you, but you got to try a little bit. If I'm giving you, extensions, and if I'm giving you workshops and I'm going sort of above and beyond to help you get to where you need to be, then I need you to meet me halfway. I think the students who have had me before know I'm very, very willing to accommodate. You got stuff going on in your life. I get it. But it's tough for me to want to meet students halfway if I don't feel like they're even trying to go. I haven't had too many instances of that being the case, but I work with teenagers. That's going to happen. So I think seeing a little bit of effort goes a long way with me. To me, that's a sign of respect. If you show up to my class and you're going to sit there and at least put in the minimum effort to do what I ask you to do, I'll take it, because I've seen a lot worse.
Got it. Well, I guess for our final question, and it's pretty similar. I'm guessing you're going to give a similar answer, but what piece of advice would you give to Pingree students? I guess outside of your classroom too. So just general life advice, I guess.
Calm down. It's not that serious. Something I wish I had known when I was in high school is that by the time I got out of college, I would pretty much stop thinking about high school. While I'm here, while I was in high school, and while you're in high school, it is the most important time in your life because you don't have any basis of comparison. It's this in elementary school. Nothing that happens in this building is life or death, academically, that is. Yet it's treated as such. So I think calm down. A B is a good grade, right? There are ways to achieve things that aren't quantifiable. And I don't know if it's just part of the Pingree fabric, this notion of it's the best or nothing, which I think striving for things is great. But if the accomplishment of perfect is the only way to satisfy the goal, it's a faulty goal to begin with. So I love the fact that people push themselves here, people push each other here, but there comes a point when it's like, y'all are kids, and you just need to take a deep breath and go play some video games once in a while. That's my feeling.
Well, thank you. I think I might need to take a bit of that advice myself.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like I definitely need to hear that.
I think it's tough when you're standing in the forest to see the trees, but this is, or should be, an enjoyable time in your life. This is the last chance you get to be kids. Once you leave this building, you're adults. Enjoy it. Yeah. It shows up quickly. You're going to be out of here legally adults. So enjoy childhood. This is still childhood. I wish I could go back to high school and just be like, I'm going to enjoy not doing anything this weekend. That would be amazing. Anyway.
Well, thank you for joining us on this podcast. I know for sure that we definitely appreciated having you here. We hope you enjoyed.
Happy to be here anytime.
Oh, this is great.
Yes.
So, yes. Thank you again.
No problem at all.
All right. Well, tuning out then.
That's all for today.
Yep.